thought I was gonna have to lower the microphone, but looks like it's not too bad. Well, as he said, I'm Amanda Chodnicki. That's my TV name, but legally I'm Amanda Klingbeil. I just got married. I'm kind of excited about it. Yeah, that's him right there. Hey, George. But I got my start. My first TV job was in good old Evansville, Indiana, which is a small town that I didn't hear of until I applied and the news director called me back. So yeah, it was one of those first market jobs. And right now, like it says up there, I'm currently in Flint, Michigan. So yes, I've covered the water crisis. A lot of people, that's the first question they ask me. But I'm happy to be home in Michigan with my family doing the job that I love, which is storytelling. So in 2013, that's the year that I started at HOMTV, and I was here for a while. I actually worked my way up to that paid position, so big time. But when I started here, I was passionate, I was determined, and I had no idea what I was getting myself into. The tripod I had to carry was taller than me and is still taller than me. I learned how to coil cable like it was my job, which kind of was my job. And I sat through planning commission meeting after planning commission meeting after city council meeting when all my friends were at Rick's. So I know how you feel, people. And I also sat in those chairs that I saw Deb post on Facebook. At my bottom was in those chairs for hours after hours after hours, and I spent long nights at that township hall building by myself, sometimes even sleeping, and that's when it truly felt like home. But it was at HOMTV where I covered my first murder trial, Connor McCowan, and I cried in the courtroom, and I was like, how do people do this and not cry? I learned firsthand how essential journalists are to a community, and I also made some incredible connections and long-lasting friendships. Daniela over there, you're gonna hear from her, but we interned together at HOMTV and still keep in contact. But I was watching some of my old stuff from HOMTV, and I'm not one to give myself a compliment, but I'm my own biggest critic. But one of my first stories was covering the unveiling of a turtle statue, and my video was slightly blue and my writing was subpar. And then thinking back a year ago today, that's when Larry Nassar was sentenced. Luana K. Simon stepped down, resigned, and I had the privilege to tell a story of Alexis Moore, who was one of the Nassar abuse survivors. And she was abused by Larry Nassar for 10 years, and her story was one of the most powerful and rewarding pieces that I've ever done. But I know that I can do better, and so can you. So my advice to all of you guys is to always strive to be better, to continue to dream big, even when you think your dreams may be too big, because it's not. Know that this job doesn't necessarily give you the big bucks, but it can give you one of the biggest, most rewarding feelings that you've ever felt in your entire life. Don't treat the characters in your story like characters, but like people that you've known for years. And when viewers try to tear you down, because they'll tell you that your voice is too high-pitched or your lipstick makes you look like a hooker, or who knows what they're going to say, because they say some awful things. And my advice to you is to tell them, thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day in the most passive-aggressive way that you possibly can, because you're better than that. But lastly, I want you guys to always remember where you came from. Think back to the days that you were an intern, coiling those cables with tripods that were bigger than you and carrying an even bigger dream. It was your homies that helped you get to where you are today. So Deb and Brandy, thank you. Thinking back, eating that pizza, township hall board meetings, and now I'm covering crazy things like the Nassar abuse scandal and water crisis, and God knows what else is going to come my way. People are crazy out there. But when I was watching the stories that I saw so far, I was in my head, the natural person in me is like, oh, like, they could have done this or they could have done that. And that's the mindset when I watch my stories that I do today. I'm like, oh, I could have done this, I could have done that. So always strive to be better, like I said. And I can't wait to see the stories that you guys do in 2013 to 2019. That's 6 years. So 6 years. I can't wait to see those stories because I know you guys are going to do amazing, great things. So shout out to my homies and thank you.